Hello everyone, my name is Praveen Narayan and I'll be your host for today. Thank you for joining us for this webinar titled Headless Commerce, Enabling Seamless Omnichannel Experiences at Scale. E-commerce sales in the US are predicted to hit the $1 trillion mark by 2022, with online orders accounting for 20% of total retail sales by 2024. Online orders originate and culminate across various channels, with customers expecting a seamless experience at every touchpoint. The challenge: how do we ensure that the customer experience across channels is equally engaging and seamless? Go headless, but with a defined strategy. Our webinar today is prepped to guide you with headless commerce, citing first-hand experiences that help you put your mind to defining a winning headless strategy to rule the omnichannel space with aplomb. Before we begin, note, we will take all the questions at the end of the webinar. If you have any questions, click on the question mark at the top right to submit your questions. In case we miss to answer your question during the stipulated time, we'll write back. We will share the webinar recording with you within 3-5 working days. And before we bind our heads around headless, a quick word on our speaker today. Our speaker for this webinar is Himanshu Kumar, Vice President Digital Solutions at Communal Digital. Himanshu brings over 2 decades of professional experience in e-commerce development and the cloud landscape. He specializes in cross-border and global e-commerce organization design for digital transformation. He's led several mid to large scale e-commerce implementations for Fortune 500 clients and startups. His focus area in digital commerce includes Magento, especially for end-to-end Magento cloud implementation, custom programming, and plugin development. He advises on best approaches for Magento planning, development, quality assurance, and maintenance. Over to you, Himanshu.
Okay, thank you, Vivek. I appreciate the introduction. I'm glad to see you all here today. As you know, that e-commerce industry is changing rapidly, and market is also adapting to the changing need of consumer and its behavior. Since the evolution of e-commerce in 90s, the e-commerce landscape has changed and is changing very rapidly since then. From being regarded as a supplement to traditional brick and mortar retail, it permeated into a digital landmark that captured the attention of the business worldwide. Digital e-commerce has become a phenomenon, and according to a survey, global e-commerce sales will approach the $5 trillion mark this year. In early days, the e-commerce journey was a linear experience for customers, starting from product search and cart to checkout. To serve these linear processes and workflow, a monolithic architecture was a good fit. In today's webinar, the agenda that I'm going to cover is headless commerce is the solution, that is the way to go. Couple of use cases that we have experienced with, how Magento fits to a headless solution, and then evaluate some of if this works for you or not. So let me start with a small challenges that a traditional e-commerce can pose to the business. Most of the businesses opted to implement an off-the-shelf solution that was self-content full stack. In most cases, traditional e-commerce stores are tightly coupled front-end and back-end system. Over time, this principle has led to various issues around scalability, security, and stability. Let me start by highlighting some of the challenges that over time marketers have started to face with traditional e-commerce platform and ever-increasing digital touchpoints. The response time of a monolithic or traditional e-commerce platform. Slow response to strategic business needs. With time, the application code base grown and it started getting difficult for developers, especially new ones in the team, to understand and keep track of the interconnected areas. The application starts to be too difficult to understand and modify. With advancement, things changed, and they changed quite fast. And it still keeps changing every day. Making any changes, even minor, in such monolith platforms become extensive exercise and requires a lot of backend and front-end codings. It is not easy to give personalized experiences to customers within such legacy systems. The size of the application also has an impact on the development time and the continuous deployment process. As the risk associated with redeployment increases, it discourages frequent updates. As you know that Amazon releases code in every 11 seconds, thus speed to market became inevitable. The second challenge is that you face and every marketer faces with monolith applications is the flexibility. When e-commerce started in the arena, it looked perfect. The order processes, fulfillment, everything looks like it was perfect. The features, integration, and flow, everything was new and flawlessly integrated. Then came the mobile push. Google Mobile First approach made the whole process even more comfortable. It allowed us to research and buy a product or service through social platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, chatbot, smart speakers like Alexa or Google Home, TV, or even some smart cars. The list is ongoing and it is still expanding. As the internet-enabled devices are ever increasing, the customer touch points have also increased manifold. Orchestration of ever-increasing device list and multiple form factors requires a comprehensive omni-channel strategy that synchronizes and also personalizes these digital touchpoints. Its success lies in the limitless customization options that can be applied almost instantly. Traditional e-commerce platforms falls a bit short of the needed scalability and flexibility, which is needed to adopt a winning customer first approach. Now, since these are monolith applications, so it also poses a security flaw. Monolith platforms contain a lot of interconnected parts. These are bound to create security gaps, which can be easily exploited by the hackers. Take example of a typical CMS platform. Danger hides in these traditional CMS, which are tightly connected to the front-end layer and exposes data holding areas. They have been subject to DDoS attacks for ages. We should also keep in mind the maintenance and upgrade responsibilities that come with traditional platforms. These require technical expertise and associated cost to make it happen. Now, as the different sections are tightly glued together, we also run the risk of application downtime or performance issues with changes, as the impact of these changes are might not known. A simple process like an update can also possibly compromise the website performance and cause downtimes that are unacceptable for growing business. For records, Walmart's a single minute of website downtime cost the company around $40,000. A massive hit on the revenue happens with a single minute of downtime. Now, as we know that the monolith application is made of one single technology stack. So the programmatic limitations had increased. In case of traditional e-commerce system, we are very much dependent on the technology stack and the default framework that it provides. An architectural framework of e-commerce consists of various existing resources like DBMS, data repository, programming languages, software and its transactions and associated protocols. We need to bind with all these predefined framework. In a way, it limits the playing field for engineers to the limited tool sets provided inherently with the platform, which ultimately compromises time to market of the products. Next come the scaling. Being a monolithic architecture, the scaling is something that it is not very well respond to. A monolithic platform, due to its size and ever mentioned limitations that we just talked about, creates an obstacle to scaling development. Big monolithic applications prevent teams from working independently. They must coordinate their development efforts and redeployments. It is ultimately much more difficult for teams to make a change and update products. But nowadays, speed of light, that kind of changes is inevitable in digital landscape. Slow performance and interruption to the website will be a brand killer. So with all these problems, it looks clean and looks like if there is a solution that we can use. Probably yes, right now. Let's have a look at some of the fact check in this slide. The limitation of traditional e-commerce system is evidently displayed all over the place during market research conducted by leading technologists and research firms. For example, engagement, the brand engagement. Traditional e-commerce platform limits us in making regular changes to brand experience. And there was an observation, and it comes from McKinsey research, that 73% of time the customer want to engage with a new brand or a new brand experience. Next comes the performance. With monolithic applications, performance become a big ask. A study conducted by Google found out that 1 second delay in mobile or web page load time can cause a drop of conversion by approximately 20%. And needless to say, all the traditional e-commerce business application users would be concerned with this performance issue, which is very common sheer because of its architectural limitations, which can be solved by adopting headless solution, where we decouple front end and back end and improve the efficiency. Next comes the disruption. We also see a lot of disruptions in a monolithic application as the impact of change and its risks are too high. In some cases, the impact of changes probably is not known. So disruption is one major risk which needs to be mitigated. And according to E&Y, the consumer do not forgive retailers for service disruption. Let the reason be pandemic or feature release or hacking. For consumer, it doesn't matter. With the technological advancement around, we have seen the world coming into hand, or rather a wearable form, the life of desktops. And we have noticed the adoption of change has been phenomena across the globe. The mobile sales across echoes the fact. In addition to the technological paradigm shift, Harvard Business Review has found that any user who shops across multiple channels tend to spend 10% more. This fact reiterates the importance we have to give to consistent omni-channel experience. And this is possible by transitioning to headless architecture. Next problem comes with the agility. I'm sure we would be astonished to know that some e-commerce giants updates their code every 11.7 seconds. And in this new world, agility is the core mantra with which transformation is happening. Now, can we be this agile with our legacy? Traditional e-commerce solution answer is no. The agility can be achieved and sustained only by adopting API-based, headless, decoupled architecture. We can clearly see the opportunity and existence of some solution here. Okay, so let's try to split up the different building block into three different pillars. A front end or maybe several front ends, a back end, and an API, which would serve as a communication layer in between. So here we have decoupled the front end from the back end and put them to work in parallel, independent of each other, capable of expanding and growing without any dependency on other. And this architecture is much needed because the device is different. The way user interact with the device is different, right? Same user may not be interacting with your desktop portal in the same manner as he might be interacting with your mobile application or a wearable device, or maybe Alexa, or maybe a team. Right. The solution is called headless architecture, and it is the answer to all the changes. The biggest advantage of a headless solution is its ability to help deliver great customer experience. Ability to deliver heavy customization allows us to tailor content and commerce to fit our customers and the touch point. It allows us to innovate with speed, which, as we know, is hard to achieve using traditional e-commerce. This enhanced customer experience and results in an improved conversion rate and lower acquisition cost. Headless commerce gives us the flexibility and ability to try and test new technology at will. It helps to create the best possible user experience. It empowers merchants to use best of breed front end and back end solutions to get lightning fast site speed or advanced personalization. The other benefit of headless commerce is the freedom and ability to pick and mix different platforms and technologies, best suited for a specific role. This allows us to create features, create differentiated shopping experiences, rather than fitting everything within the guardrails of the self solution. Let's take an example of WordPress. Like we know, this popular CMS, it's not always easy to convert to a full-fledged e-commerce so easily. With Headless, this doesn't matter. We can combine it with any specialized e-commerce platform. So we could use a WordPress as a CMS and add e-commerce platform like Adobe Commerce or BigCommerce or maybe Shopify as our e-commerce platform to get the best of both worlds. Likewise, we may have a front-end tool or framework of our choice that suits our development need. We can use Gatsby or Next.js. A headless system will then happily allow us to retain it and build upon it further for e-commerce through any available e-commerce platform. Most of the brand rely on paid channels for customer acquisition. Headless commerce can help you to reduce acquisition costs in few ways. Headless help us create differentiated user experience. We can target customer, giving them a personalized experience. This has a big positive impact on the conversion rate and make the most of expenditure on acquisition. Headless also helps brand to develop a content and experience-led strategy to draw in organic traffic and repeat business. Let me now touch briefly about how Headless is going to help. We talked about the slow response and time to market in case of monolithic applications. Headless solution provides us a decoupled architecture which makes it quick and easy for programmers to make modifications in content. This greatly enhances the capability of the companies and widens their opportunity in terms of selecting and deciding their offerings. Remember that the modern consumers are more demanding and savvier than ever, which we have observed in facts. Taking the COVID-19 disruption example, you can imagine that impact a general day e-commerce platform disruptions can do to your reputation. Coming to customizations, Headless fully integrate models to give us room for out-of-the-box customizations and complete control over the UI. It enables the front-end developers to communicate headless platforms with simple API calls. Some platforms also allow us to add some simple tweaks with any coding being involved. As a result, it enables brands to diversify and enrich user experiences with highly engaging websites and eStores. A study by Harvard Business Review concluded that customers who were used to shop across multiple channels were more likely to spend 4% more in the store than 10% more online. Next, we know that the microservice architecture of headless commerce platform splits up those processes and allows us to fix anything on the back end without interfering with the front-end performance. This helps avoid the unnecessary downtime of the entire application. So by decoupling, our headless CMS is creating a safety ring by separating content from data storage. So any new issues can be separated without impacting the performance of other or any need of the whole system going to pause and adjust. Let's now talk about the zero dependency on the default technology. A decentralized architecture of the platform gives the developers full freedom to decide on the choice of technology to create an application, be it languages, framework, or OS. Eliminating the reliance on a single technology stack gives us the opportunity to execute the most preferred technology when building a new service. And the technology selection can happen based on the kind of work you are doing. For example, in an e-commerce platform, you are trying to build some kind of recommendations. And for recommendation, we all know that there are various cloud-based technology that we can utilize. So it completely decouple our front end and back end. We can use any kind of technology to build what we need. Above that, a decoupled front end and a back end is a welcome approach, as it is smoothly allows different teams to collaborate when the code base needs some quick fix. The last of the solution would be around the scaling limitations. The headless commerce platforms are built according to the scaling principle with open APIs. This enables developers to create personalized user experiences that can fit on any device. Thus, scalability covers the ability of our headless system to provide flexibility and reliability across the entire customer journey. The competition is granular than ever, making every second and pixel contribute to our commercial success. Google claims that 1 second delay in mobile load time can cause a 20% drop in conversions, which is a huge number. Many tech and retail giants have moved the headless way. I think Amazon was the first company to strategize their approach towards headless. By 2016, Amazon was already updating its store code every 11.7 seconds with no downtime. Now, the decoupled nature of headless commerce helps us to serve range of use cases. The flexibility that it brings to the table allows business to tailor the solution as per their business needs. For example, most of the time, businesses are using off-the-shelf CMS, DXP, or PWA solutions. With Headless, we can mix and match solutions that can address business expectations. The charm of using Headless is to allow developers to use a specific tech stack. If your team is well versed in the features of custom CMS you have been using for many years, then it would be more effective in bringing that institutional knowledge to launch e-commerce functionality and deliver it headlessly. In a highly decoupled architecture, where front-end and back-end are part of one single monolith solution, adding a new element and a feature to the tech stack become a very complex exercise. A headless approach decouples the front end and allows to define lean interface for a specific business need or devices without disrupting your important commerce system or backend. Content management system. A headless CMS opens up a lot of opportunity to the business. For content customization and presentation, this also helps us in personalizing the content according to the customer. For example, brands may prefer to use WordPress or Drupal for content, where marketing or content teams aren't forced to compromise on their CMS. A headless solution means your CMS can work alongside a more feature-rich front end, removing the need for compromise. In this case, headless commerce means that the best CMS can be combined with the feature-rich UI e-commerce platform, which can ensure a content-led transformation strategy. The digital experience. Customer experience matters the most to companies, and digital experience platform allow the marketing teams to achieve customization depending on user behavior. For example, with digital experience, you can optimize and personalize contents for different users and allow for effective merchandise across devices and improve conversion. For example, marketing team using a DXP, API-driven headless can work really well for them. We can integrate our e-commerce platform with any favored DXP. Progressive web apps. Progressive web apps help duplicate native web experience across a range of devices. Marketing team can use it to deliver content on whatever the channel or device is used by the customer at any stage. With the growing uses of mobiles for content, commerce, and more, PWS can help businesses to be updated with customer preferences and maintain unifying experience across devices. Headless setup enables us to use PWA for the presentation layer, allowing teams to improve front-end and user experience without changes to the backend. Coming to an example of using headless commerce, Elsevier is a leading information and analytics company and a leading provider of scientific, medical, and technical products in print and electronic forms to researchers, professionals, and students around the world. The publishing company store was previously hosted by Oracle ATG, with multiple storefronts for each country. This caused high cost of ownership and difficulty in managing content. Cost of developing any specific marketing or business need was high, and time to market was almost unacceptable. Another example, Burrow, is one of the shining examples of how brands can use headless CMS to create a digital experience across multiple channels. They have been able to successfully use headless option to deliver unified content and experience. In case of Elsevier, we have migrated their e-commerce platform to Magento Enterprise platform, from Oracle ATG to Magento Enterprise. That was a huge step for them. This had helped them to ease content management and also allows them to develop omnichannel experience, which is fully integrated with their downstream and upstream application. Now the platform is fully scalable, and we have created various touch points for different device factors. And right now it is globally distributing products and more than 70,000 SKUs and more than 500,000 registered customers. It is successfully running. Now, till now, we have discussed about the challenges in traditional e-commerce system, and now Headless can address it. Now, let's see how Magento can help us and accelerate in Headless implementation and differs from the monolithic one. Magento PW Studio and customizable front end with Adobe Experience Manager. We'll discuss. We can discuss in details that how it is a perfect match for Headless. Let me ask if it is convenient to shop through smartphones or through the desktop. If mobile, then how do you boost your mobile conversion rate? Let's put this simple. Any traditional store can be considered as a merged system. Yet the front end and the back end are connected, and this is the reason of some of the typical pain points due to the monolithic architecture. Now, what are the symptoms does the application exhibit which can point us to this architectural problem? Stores are notably slow on mobile. The convenience factor is quite low when shopping on mobile. Any routine maintenance or customization and even scaling become a challenge with a growing application. Strategic development is hampered. So when we implement Magento solution, we are essentially conducting a surgery and dissecting front end and back end, at the same time introducing APIs for communication. And when we implemented, the speed of the online stores increased as the front end runs independent of backends and generates the HTML. User experience or interface becomes highly adaptable to customer requirements, and hence omnichannel truly becomes real. Because of the dissection, the development process accelerates. Now, let's see how the front end needs to be stitched with backend. REST and GraphQL, APIs that Magento supports. And theoretically, Any system that has complete APIs can be deployed in a headless manner. But in practice, a set of best practices have emerged over the past few years or so to make deploying a headless e-commerce system more practical. The capabilities of headless architecture are huge, which encourages platforms like Adobe Commerce to use their own APIs within their platforms. Magento provides a complete REST and GraphQL coverage for their full APIs. By using GraphQL, a developer can use minimalistic form of request to get the needed product details. If you're wondering on the different layers and their negative impact on the performance of the system, you can be assured that the case is surprisingly different. GraphQL with its streamlined data model greatly reduces network traffic and improves the speed with which queries execute. Now, let's see the real-time implementation of Magento and how it has transformed Jest. Jest is one of our esteemed customers. Jest Dental Solution is a global leader in the design, development, manufacturing, and distribution of diversified dental solutions for a continuum of patient care. From preserving natural teeth to the treatment of total dental care. The company's product portfolio consists of Jest anchors, dangling materials, and periostomy. Jest was looking for a technology partner to help them build an unified experience along with downstream order management integration solution that can improve efficiency, reduces cost, and provides an omnichannel experience. Also simplifies the customer onboarding experience. They wanted an OMS solution that ensures them best-in-class performance by optimizing site, page speed, and data archiving. During our discussion, we got to know their business challenges. They were having challenges in onboarding new customers, which required a technical solution, process improvement. User experience across channels was not uniform. Fault lines in integration between CRM, ERP, and their service ticket management system, which is resulting in poor customer service call handling. The customer service, there was long call waiting queues, service team not having full information because there were broken systems. That some information was there in their ERP, some of their were in their mobile applications, some were there, some of them will be into their portal. So it was completely broken system. Information was scattered. Customer service struggled to get the information. They have to switch from one data to another. And that was a huge problem with the changing landscape of their e-commerce. And when we have implemented Magento solution with the support of Adobe Commerce, we had to navigate through these challenges. The expectation that customer has a frictionless omnichannel experience. Separate development team would be needed to handle backend and the front end. A full stack developers for the backend and the front end developers familiar with Magento and to work on progressive frameworks. As a solution, we have implemented and ensured, created a consistent experience across channels by developing responsive web application on Magento. created one system of record for both B2B and B2C orders by achieving parity between the M2M and Magento systems, such that all the orders in text will be driven via Magento and will be passed on to their ERP solution called Make to Manage for processing and fulfillment, before being passed back onto Magento for payment, processing, and customer service related needs. Enable all members of Just Customers service team to use a single system to achieve better productivity and higher quality of customer service. Upgraded the credit card system to authorized and capture credit card transactions through Magento. Automated invoice processing once the card capture is successful and payment is processed. Ensured performance and speed optimization of the order management solution by optimizing site, page speed, and data archive. We were having app team Make to Manage as ERP, Zoho for CRM and BI, Shortel as telephony solution, and Google Suite for office contacts, which had to be integrated with Magento. We have delivered following: a modernized order management solution having seamless integration with different applications, an intuitive interface to provide a great experience to their users, clean and effective migration of customer data from M2M to Magento, making Magento as a single system of record. Single source of truth helped in increasing productivity by more than 20%. Real-time data availability helped in improving customer experience. We have achieved all of what I have said above and ensured that cost of development is minimal. Compact, scalable, code-based optimize the performance of system by 40%. Customer satisfaction increased by 35% with features automatic address normalization and integrated automatic real-time tax calculations. Now, when you want to implement Magento in your organization, what is the first evaluation criteria before diving deep to the root of transformation? You need to check if your business or application suite or problem statement is falling into the couple of following areas that I am going to right now talk about. Does your business have an existing content management? Is there a roadmap for the growth of e-commerce offerings? If the answer for error 2 is yes, then your asset is a candidate for Magento-based headless transformation. Is your business having an experienced marketing and content organization that wants more control? Then your organization is a good candidate for headless transformation. It can help in delivering highly personalized experiences and contextually relevant content. For large conglomerates who are servicing multiple portfolios, brands, and divisions, headless is an excellent approach. This allows capability to integrate with content and governance by enforcing workflow, versioning, rules, and global or unique branding guidelines. With this, I would like to again go back to the just use case where we have not just implemented unified experience, but now they are able to cater multiple form factors including various mobile devices, wearables, and things like that. And we have also created a roadmap for further downstream integration to their internal systems so that all the information flows flawlessly from their single point of sale to, to their customer service and hence to customers. Communal, not just with Jest, Communal has been playing a pivotal role into our customers' digital journey, helping them to achieve end-to-end solution in brand building and providing an omni-channel experience to the end users. We have experience working with various e-commerce platforms and help our customers to achieve their goals. We are more than happy to partner in your success. So with that, we will go ahead and take some time for questions. Vivek, over to you.
Thank you so much, Himanshu. We're open to questions now. If you haven't already, you can post your questions by clicking the question mark at the top right. We'll write back to you if we miss answering any of your questions due to the lack of time. As mentioned, you can post your questions by clicking the question mark at the top right. And I see one coming. So Himanshu, the question is, can Headless be integrated in any existing e-commerce systems, or there are exceptions?
No, the basic idea behind Headless is to allow integrations. And since it is an open API based architecture, it can be integrated. So in a nutshell, the answer is yes. And I take Adobe Commerce as an example, where it offers its customers the option to integrate different headless elements. However, before making the move, you need to do a proper research to plan the migration and its approach. There is also a concept of retrofitted headless e-commerce. It's a kind of hybrid approach that combines different elements of a traditional architecture with elements of a modular headless platform. A hybrid headless e-commerce platform based on open APIs can be retrofitted to a monolithic platform without disruption. This might be a win-win solution in some cases. I hope I answered to your satisfaction.
Okay, the next question in queue about adoption rates. What is the adoption rate of Headless in the industry?
With the from the trend, I can say that it is right now trending, and even this global pandemic had accelerated the pace. Recently, a survey has been conducted by WordPress, and according to that, 64% of enterprise is going towards headless, and more than 90% of those who are not currently using headless plan to evaluate headless solutions over the next 12 months, which means headless is fastly getting adopted across the industry, across various systems. Interestingly, there was an additional observation in that survey. 92% of respondents agreed that implementing headless CMS technologies make it easier for organizations to deliver a consistent content experience, which translates to the mean that enterprise organizations increasingly see a direct link between digital experiences and the overall success of their business. Next.
Interesting. The next one in line, can you highlight some popular brands that have gone headless?
Oh, there are endless names to it, but let me try to structure this. I think Amazon is the first one that comes to my mind. They had migrated to headless long way back. This architecture allows them to keep on integrating the latest channel into their system. As you know, Amazon is a fast changing environment and ecosystem. They have now integrated the EcoSmart speakers, which relies on voice command for shopping, as well as Dash, which handles orders specific to devices. It's connected to by the push of a button. Nowadays, you will start getting your notifications for Amazon delivery on your Alexa or Echo. The other example that you can think about is Etsy, Toyota, Sony, Tesla, Nike, and McDonald's. McDonald's has combined different CMS softwares like PrestaSoft and Drupal for different companies. They have added side features that enhance the way they sell fast food through mobile ordering and have faster drive-through or over-the-counter pickup based on your order. I would like to add my personal experience. In my last visit to the McDonald's store, I got a chance to use my mobile phone to order. Out of just a curiosity, I also comparing the speed of my order to the one being taken at counter, and my experience was a wow. My order went as fast as over the counter, and if I add timing of payment, I was the winner. Mind you, the order items were the same. Any other question, Vivek, that you see?
Impressive how technology is shaping our lives and is driving another level of convenience. Yes, there is another in queue. What questions should we ask before choosing a headless front end?
Yeah, that's a nice question. So before you choose a headless front end, probably you need to ask a couple of questions to yourself. Like, you need to know what are the additional advantages you want to achieve as an outcome with this exercise. Would you just like to decouple front end app from the back end, or would you like to redesign and build the functionality from scratch? What are the different choices of front end framework that you are looking forward to? Do you want to see a serverless model, or how you want to approach this headless solution? Lastly, how long will it take to implement? That is some question that you should be asking yourself as well as to the vendors that you are going to shortlist. And all this, Compunal would be more than willing to partner you in your discovery and collaborate with you throughout the redesign your end customer experience. Yeah.
I think we'll give the audience a minute or two if anyone wants to send us their questions. Headless seems to be the way forward for all e-commerce entities.
Exactly. And the way the devices, yeah, the way new devices are coming, the new way of interactions are approaching. You can see how conversation bots are coming, how EcoDot or Google Home is changing the buying experience. You can just talk to them and put a couple of orders. All these are possibility when you are using a headless commerce. There are a strong backend, which is a centralized system, and then you can create multiple front-end system interacting with the same backend. So yeah, that is I think is going to change the e-commerce world completely.
Just out of curiosity, something like audio and gesture could also play in the headless commerce way.
Of course.
Go the headless commerce way.
Of course, and there is a trend where we are doing virtual shopping. It gives you an experience of moving around a mall, and you are selecting your product, you are doing all virtually, get an experience of brick and mortar based retail system. So amazing things are happening there, and I will say that behind all this, decoupled architecture is playing a big role.
It's all about the experience. I think we are on top of the hour and not see any questions coming in. So we will wind up here. We've got to the conclusion of the webinar. I would like to take this opportunity to thank each of you for being part of this webinar. We hope you have some valuable takeaways. Thank you, Himanshu, for sharing some useful insights.
Thanks, Vivek. Thanks, everyone.
Yes, you can expect this webinar recording in your inbox within 3 to 5 working days. And we encourage you to follow Communal Digital's social media handles across LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook to stay attuned with our industry and technology-focused webinars and content. Have a great day ahead. Once again, thank you, Himanshu, for your valuable time.